Welcome back to the Talking Sports Podcast right here on YouTube, Apple Podcast, and Spotify. As always, I am your host, Peter DiBiasi, and welcome back. If you're on Apple Podcast or Spotify, I really appreciate you guys listening. If you are on YouTube, smash that subscribe button, drop a like, and drop a comment. We just hit 5,000 subscribers on YouTube, so I really appreciate that. And some crazy luck, some algorithm that we hit. Our last video, if you haven't checked it out yet, our 2025 AFC preview, you can always go check it out. I know the NFL is in full swing right now. Has over 30,000 views on YouTube right now. So thank you. I really appreciate that. Everyone that watched, liked, clicked on it, did it, whatever with that video, I really appreciated it. As always, go check out our most recent episodes. And as always, we are sponsored by Underdog Fantasy. Use code TSP for a 100% deposit match up to $100 on Underdog Fantasy. It's the best time to get on Underdog Fantasy. Link is in the description. And like I said, NFL's in full swing. College football, our weekly NFL picks, our weekly college football rankings. You can find that in only 2 locations on social media, on X and on Instagram at Talking Sports PD. So make sure you guys go check that out. Make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe, and let's get right into the video. If you can tell by the thumbnail or the title, we're talking Dabo Swinney, we're talking Clemson football. We don't do a lot of these reactionary kind of podcasts, kind of videos, all that kind of stuff, because it's just not what we do. Maybe we should do more. But I want to talk about Dabo Swinney and Clemson football for a couple minutes here. And let's paint the picture right now. So we're in 2025. College football is 4 games in. Clemson is 1-3. This is a national title contender, a potential national title contender heading into the year. I might have picked them to win the national championship. Maybe. This was a team that was expected to compete for a national championship. They have an elite defense, or supposed to be an elite defense. They're returning a ton of production. They have the weapons on the outside, and they're returning Cade Klubnik, who was supposed to be a Heisman challenger or one of the Heisman favorites, and someone that was potentially going to be a first-round pick in the NFL draft in 2026. None of that has come to fruition. None of it. It hasn't worked whatsoever for Clemson football at the moment. So Clemson football, I got to bring out my notes, right now is 1-3. Clemson has lost to LSU at home. Look, no problem losing week 1 at home. That was a toss-up game in my opinion, because I thought LSU is a playoff contender, and I thought Clemson was a playoff contender. You go to Death Valley, the Clemson Death Valley. LSU wins a slugfest. I didn't think Clemson looked great. Then you're like, okay, you lose 1 game to a top 10 team. It's not. The world is not falling. And the world, look, to be completely honest with you, was not falling at that moment. They play Troy next week, and they're down early, and you're like, okay, this is a little weird at the moment. They come back and they win that game. Then they go to Georgia Tech, who's been a tremendous team this year. They lose to Georgia Tech at the buzzer with the field goal. And then you're like, oh, this is starting to get a little weird. We're 1-2, we being Clemson. Clemson's 1-2. And we're sitting here, they're sitting there like, what do we do here now? Are we at a point where are we just not ACC contender titles? Are we not national championship contenders? Whatever. Well, okay. Then Syracuse comes to town. Not Syracuse basketball, Syracuse football. Fran Brown and Syracuse football. Steve Angeli and Syracuse football. They come to Clemson. Clemson is 16, 17-point favorites. Clemson gets blown out of their own building to Syracuse. They didn't play Georgia. They didn't play Oregon. They didn't play Alabama. Syracuse football went into what was supposed to be a tough environment in Death Valley. It's not anymore. And beat the brakes off Clemson. So Clemson loses at home to LSU, not a biggie. Lose at Georgia Tech, who they're more talented than, and they're better than. They're supposed to be better than. And then you're like, they lose to Syracuse at home. Is the Dabo Swinney era over for Clemson football? It is. The Dabo Swinney era is completely over for Clemson football. It might not be this year because of the buyout, but it's probably next year. And at the end of the year, Dabo Swinney could be coaching a different team. That buyout situation is a mess. It's a ton of money. This is how college football is structured. But we're looking at right now, unless things drastically change, it's been 4 games, there's only 8 left, and they're 1-3. Unless things drastically change from September 23rd to the end of November, and Clemson is battling for an ACC championship game, and which would give them a shot to make the playoff. They're 0-2 in conference. They're probably not going to be battling for an ACC championship game. Dabo Swinney might not be coaching Clemson in 2026. And that is a shocking development for what Dabo Swinney has meant for this program, has meant for the conference, and what he has done to Clemson football. Let's take a step back here. Let's see what Dabo Swinney has done at Clemson. Because Dabo Swinney has made Clemson a national powerhouse. To the likes of Georgia, to Alabama, to Ohio State, to Texas, he has put Clemson on the map. So since 2011, I'm going to read out heading into 2022, the amount of games Dabo Swinney won at Clemson. Starting at 2011, 10 games, 11 games, 11 games, 10, 14, 14, 12, 15, 14, 10, 10, 11. Notice the pattern there? One, that's a lot of wins. That's all double-digit win seasons. We got a 12-win season. We got a couple 14. We got a 15-win season before the 12-team playoff even existed, and they got to 15 wins. Then you go to 2023, they win 9 games, and you're like, oh, this is a little weird. Last year, they win 10 games. Wasn't a pretty win. Let's talk about last year in a second. Well, it wasn't a pretty year, and this year they're 1-3. What Dabo Swinney also did during the 2011 to 2022 at the hiatus of Clemson football. He won 2 national championships. He went to 4, and he was one of, outside of Kirby Smart for 1 year, to beat Nick Saban in a big-time game. He went toe-to-toe with the greatest college football coach we have ever seen in this sport, in Nick Saban, and beat him twice in a national championship. He beat him twice in a national championship, Dabo Swinney and Clemson. He also went to 2 others. He won 9 ACC championships during his time from 2011 until obviously they won last year. So he's won 9 ACC championships, 2 national champions, and went to 4 and went head-to-head with Nick Saban. And one other crazy stat before we talk about the 2024 season for Clemson. From 2016 to 2022, Clemson won 40 straight home games. From 2016 to 2022, Clemson won 40 straight home games. That is the 8th longest home winning streak in the history of college football. Clemson used to be a hard place to play. It used to mean things. It used to mean something when people had to go to Death Valley. It doesn't anymore. You see it this year, and you saw it in 2024. Clemson at home in 2024 lost to Louisville, got just absolutely gashed on the ground and we were not the physical enough team against Louisville in 2024. They lost to South Carolina, an in-state rival, at home in 2024. Then this year, you flash forward to 2025. They lose to LSU at home. Nothing wrong with that. They lose to Syracuse at home. They've lost to Louisville, South Carolina, and Syracuse at home. And no shot at any of those programs. Louisville's a standard program. South Carolina's a good program. Syracuse potentially is on the come up with Fran Brown. Clemson has no business losing to any of those 3 teams at home in the last 2 years. It used to be a tough place to play. Playing at Clemson doesn't mean anything anymore. It's not a tough environment anymore. So you fast forward from 2016 to 2022, 40 straight home wins. And now they've lost 3 times in the last year and a half. And we're only 4 games into 2025. And they've already lost twice at home. The Clemson that people used to know, the Dabo Swinney Clemson that people used to know from 2011 to 2022 no longer exists. It's over. It is completely over with Clemson Tigers football. And this is the most disappointing thing about the 2025 Clemson Tigers. This team was supposed to be different. 2023 and 2024 were building to 2025 with Cade Klubnik, with Peter Woods, with the guys that are returning on both sides of the ball. Continuity finally at the offensive coordinator position. They bring in Tom Allen to coach the defense. This was supposed to be the year for Clemson, to be back in the national spotlight. Maybe not win a national championship, but be in the playoff and have a chance to make a legit run. Because they were in the playoff in 2024. They did not have a legit chance to make a run. This was supposed to be different for Clemson football, and it wasn't. And it hasn't been. Syracuse, Georgia Tech, and LSU, 2 of those 3 losses at home. And it used to be a tough place to play. It used to mean something for opponents to have to go into Death Valley and play Clemson. It used to be a tough environment. It's no longer a tough environment. 2025 Death Valley, there's only one Death Valley left in college football, and it's the LSU Death Valley. It's not the Clemson Death Valley. It's the LSU Death Valley, and that is disappointing. And if you're the Clemson fan, where do you go from here? The only way you go is you probably have to reshape this program. And I get it. Dabo Swinney has been a legend. He's going to be probably the greatest coach Clemson will ever see in their history of their program. He's been that good for Clemson. And a couple other things to wrap up right here. Look, he's a man of his principles, and I get it, and I understand that, and I respect that. But it's 2025 college football. Love it or hate it, it's a transfer portal era of college football. You either adjust or you get left behind or you leave the sport, like Nick Saban. Nick Saban left the sport. He didn't want to do it anymore. He left the sport. Some guys embrace it. Kirby Smart, Dan Lanning, Ryan Day, they embraced the 2025 college football philosophy, the transfer portal. They might not like it, but they embrace it. Dabo Swinney hasn't left college football, didn't embrace it. He doesn't care. And guess what? College football is leaving Dabo Swinney behind. He hasn't embraced the model of 2025 college football. He doesn't like the 2025 college football. Guess what? College football doesn't care. College football and sports in general doesn't wait for anyone, because there will be people that will adjust, like Kirby Smart, like Dan Lanning. They have adjusted. Dabo Swinney has not, and college football has left him behind. And the outlook of Clemson football is bleak. It's disappointing. It's uncertainty for the first time since probably 08, 09 that Clemson football it looks different, is going to feel different. It's not the same Clemson Tigers we've been used to from 2011 when Dabo really hit his stride until 2022. And even the last 2 years, it's a different version of Clemson football. And this Clemson football team, even though they're veteran-laden, is being left behind. And in 2026, they might be coached by a different coach. That's my Clemson football rant. That's my Clemson football conversation right there. If you guys like that, smash the subscribe button. Road to 6,000 subscribers. Drop a like and drop a comment. As always, we are sponsored by Underdog Fantasy. Use code TSB for a 100% deposit match up to $100 on UnderdogFantasy.com. And as always, X, Instagram, a ton of content on that. NFL, college football-wise, MLB playoffs is right around the corner. So get onto social media on X and on Instagram at Talking Sports PD. And as always, subscribe to the YouTube channel, Apple Podcasts, Spotify. If you haven't yet, watch my college football preview. Just don't go to the end when I picked Clemson to win the national championship game. AFC, NFC preview. Go check that out. Let me know what you guys think. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss a single next episode. Make sure you follow us on all the socials because there's so much content dropping there daily. Hopefully you guys enjoyed my little bit of my 13.5-minute Dabo Swinney Clemson rant, but I think it's interesting. I think it's fascinating where Clemson football has been, but let me know what you guys think down below in the comment section. That is going to do it for us. Smash the subscribe button, like, comment to the YouTube channel, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you.